has always been associated with the power to shape lives and create a social impact. With an ever-expanding educational system and more young people enrolling in the institutions for education, the need for good teachers has seen a surge. Hello and welcome. Today on the show we explore why teaching is a lucrative career option and how you too can get the right kind of training to become a teacher.
With more than 50% of its population under 25 years of age, India requires an educational revolution to address the problems of illiteracy and lack of education. A few areas of concern in this regard are recruiting and retaining the required number of teachers and their quality. With more than 97% children aged between 6 to 14 years enrolled in schools for primary education, the need for having qualified and skilled teachers has noticed a surge. According to the Ministry of Human Resource and Development, India currently faces a shortage of over 12 lakh teachers, and as per UNESCO, we will be needing a massive 10.9 million new teachers by 2020 to meet the goal of providing universal primary education for all.
Well, there is shortage of teachers because largely states have not built their capacities to train teachers. So pre-service teacher education programs have been by and large not meeting the demand, and the demand escalated soon after the RTE came into effect. The shortages still continue, although a lot of states, what they've done, especially in the northern belt, they've recruited a whole lot of contract teachers who may not necessarily have the pre-service qualification because they had to meet the demand. But the shortage still continues.
Recognizing the need to improve teacher quality, the Government of India in 2011 introduced a Central Teacher Eligibility Test or CTET. A mandatory exam for aspiring school teachers which is in accordance with the Right to Education Act 2009. Any candidate who clears CTET is considered eligible for teaching children from classes 1st to 8th in central government schools, while for CBSE affiliated schools, teachers can be recruited on the basis of either CTET scores or state-specific exams.
Well, the CTET and the STET, that is the state level teacher eligibility tests, have actually shown that very few numbers who have the pre-service qualification are qualifying the CTET kind of exam. Which means that it's a reflection on the teacher education programs that are running and also the system of higher education, because a lot of the test is around subject knowledge areas.
At 50%, experts point out the minimum passing marks in graduation, a basic eligibility criteria to apply for B.Ed, might not be enough. Also an indicator of the quality of talent that is currently being attracted for teaching jobs in the country. On the other hand, a lack of training, minimal access to a professional teacher networks, feminization of the profession and social perceptions about teaching being a second-class job are some of the reasons that contribute to not only degrading of teaching quality, but also in keeping away young talent from choosing teaching as a career option.
See, firstly, when it comes to talking about guys and girls in B.Ed, there is this notion that it is basically a feminized profession and that it's an easy thing to do, but there's nothing of the sort. Like, even I had something similar going on in my head. When I came to B.Ed, it's hardcore. It's not an easy thing that you can just breeze through. Basically, you're going to learn how to handle young kids. You're going to shape the next generation. It's not the easiest thing in the world. So, if anybody says now that, it's an easy thing, like it's a woman's job, why would you want to go such an easy profession? I would be like, please come and try it for yourself.
While introduction of various central and state level exams is one way to tackle the problem, an introduction of practice-oriented teacher preparation programs allowing lateral entry of high caliber individuals with quality work experience in other professions and restructuring teacher education can be some other possible ways to improving poor teacher quality in the country. With Richa Sajothia, Abhishek Singh for NDTV.
If becoming a teacher is what you always wanted to do but didn't know how to, we tell you how to go about with it.
Teacher training courses in India are designed keeping in mind the different educational requirements for teachers teaching at primary and secondary levels. For teaching in a primary school, candidates need to have a minimum score of 50% in higher secondary examinations, along with a recognized full-time Bachelor's of Education degree or B.Ed. While for teaching at the secondary school level, a bachelor's alongside a postgraduate degree in the subject one wishes to teach is a must. On the other hand, candidates having a diploma in teaching are also eligible for teaching jobs. For kickstarting a teaching career, you can choose to pursue either a degree in Bachelor of Education or B.Ed or a Bachelor of Elementary Education. The B.Ed program is one of the oldest and most popular teacher training program, which enables a candidate for teaching upper primary or secondary levels in both government and private schools. In an attempt to improve the quality of teachers, the National Council for Teaching Education (NCTE) in 2014 decided to increase the duration of a B.Ed program from 1 year to 2 years. This means the candidates now have to study for 5 years to become a teacher, as the minimum eligibility to pursue B.Ed is a compulsory 3-year undergraduate program like a Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Science, for example.
The B.Ed basically requires that you're a graduate in any discipline. It could be the sciences or the arts or humanities, and you write an entrance exam and you come in for a 2-year program. And basically it's assumed that you've done your general education, and all that you need now is a professional training to become a teacher at the secondary and senior secondary level.
A Bachelor of Elementary Education or BL-Ed, on the other hand, is a 4-year integrated degree program which is offered after the completion of high school education.
It's a multidisciplinary integrated professional degree program which one does after +2. That means after passing out from school, anyone from humanities, commerce, science, etc., they are eligible for it. Minimum eligibility, of course, is 50% in certain chosen areas. And this program prepares you to teach up to class 8.
A BL-Ed program is bilingual, taught in both Hindi and English. Its curriculum is designed in a way that it allows an integration of the study of human development, pedagogical knowledge and communication skills.
The students get to engage with education for full 4 years. They study other disciplinary areas also, like psychology, science, maths, social sciences, language, etc. But they also get to study, to engage intensely with education. That is one thing. Then second thing, it is a very fine balance of theory papers, practicum papers and colloquia papers. In fact, practicum and colloquia papers are not in that kind of depth and quantity in other teacher training programs. So that is what makes it something distinct from other teaching programs. Theatre, for example, is a very essential component of our program. Theatre as a pedagogical tool, etc. Then in psychology based, there are many papers.
A BL-Ed program helps students acquire skills in dramatics, crafts, classroom management and evaluation. The course offers practical exposure with almost 60% of the curriculum being fieldwork. For example, BL-B.Ed students in final years undergo a 4-month teaching internship at schools, thus getting hands-on experience in teaching real time. A BL-Ed program approaches teacher training in contemporary style and allows a balanced mix of practicals and theory.
Internship program that starts in 4th year. But before that also the students do engage with school children in class. In 1st year they go to do activities, storytelling, etc. 3rd year they go for blog teaching for about 3 weeks. But internship program is very intense. That's for full 16 weeks. Major part of it is devoted to primary school internship and rest of it is devoted to middle school internship.
While a B.Ed degree straight away prepares you for a teaching career at the secondary level, a BL-Ed degree will only make you eligible for primary level teaching. For a BL-Ed degree holder, an ML-Ed degree hence becomes compulsory to be able to teach at the secondary school level.
The BL-Ed is a 4-year program that attempts to educate teachers who will teach at the elementary level, and the B.Ed is a program that helps you to teach right up to the senior secondary level. But the only point of comparison can be that a 4-year program like the BL-Ed is an integrated program. It integrates general education with professional education, and that gives not only a long duration time for teachers to reflect and develop into reflective practitioners, but it also helps them to look at knowledge areas with a critical eye, and that is what we require in training a teacher. The B.Ed is not an integrated program in that sense, but the 2-year B.Ed after graduation is also a model that I think is very effective. We should be able to retain such a model.
Typical career progression for a B.Ed graduate includes teacher training for teaching at higher levels as a trainee graduate teacher or as a postgraduate teacher or pursuing a master's in education. While a candidate with B.Ed degree, on the other hand, has much more interesting career avenues open for them. They can choose to pursue an MA in sociology, psychology or history among other subjects and enter into an alternate career or find their way back into teaching the subject they postgraduated in.
Now that we know how to get the right training for becoming a teacher, let us look at an inspirational story of an 80-year-old woman who has been teaching relentlessly in the slums of Delhi for the past 20 years.
Open the window.
She's 80 but not ready to hang up her boots. Vimla Kaul has been teaching children from Delhi's slums for the last 2 decades. A history student from Delhi's Miranda House, she taught for years but refused to sit still even after she retired in 1994. And so she focused on students from the slums. Along with her husband, she started a school in 1995 in a small village in the suburbs of South Delhi. What began under the skies and with just 5 students has today grown to 110 children.
I have had about 20 years of service. I have been teaching wherever my husband was transferred. I used to go and join a school because I was interested in teaching.
Her makeshift school had to move from park to park, with residents often complaining about their presence. In fact, she almost had to shut down the school 15 years ago.
Even in this school, we have had a lot of trouble in this. First we started it in Sarta Vihar. They didn't allow us to work there because people say your children make a noise, your children scratch our cars, your children scratch our homes, get out. So we have been shunting from here to there, there to here. Finally we came to this park. And here also every day we were frightened, it's an MCD park. Any day we can be kicked out.
Finally, in the year 2011, a local trust reached out to help. The school moved to a building with 4 classrooms and 4 teachers, all Vimla Kaul's ex-students.
मिसेस विमला कौल के पास 2006 से पढ़ा रही हूँ कि मैं एक ऐसे जगह बिहार से हूँ जहाँ की लेडीज़ को अंदर में रखा जाता है, न बोलना, न निकलना, न उठना, लेकिन ये सब कुछ मुझे मिसेस कौल ने से मैंने सीखी।
मेरे को अच्छा लगता है स्कूल में आना, अच्छा लगता है पढ़ने में और मैं डॉक्टर बनना चाहूँगी।
मेरा नाम शिवानी है, मैं सेकंड में पढ़ती हूँ, मेरी क्लास दूसरी है। मैं डेयरी फार्म में रहती हूँ। मुझे अच्छा लगता है पढ़ना कि मैं भी चाहती हूँ मैं कुछ बनूँ आगे, मैं भी मैम की जैसी बन पाऊँ ताकि और लोगों को पढ़ा पाऊँ।
From parks to pakka rooms, Vimla Kaul has dedicated 20 long years to teaching in the slums. She hopes that someday her school will grow into a full-fledged institution. With Richa Sujatia, Natasha Jog, NDTV.
Very good job.
It's time for us to slip into a short break. On the other side, we explore teaching careers at a college and university level. Knowledge does not exist without a teacher, and the success of a college or an institution largely depends upon the quality of its teachers. But the road to becoming a professor is not an easy one. Let us now have a look at how you can kickstart a career for higher education at a college or university level.
Indian higher education system has seen a rapid expansion in the past few years. According to an Indian Brand Equity Foundation report, India at present has around 36,000 higher education institutes. Around 14.6 million students applied for undergrad courses compared to 2 million for postgrad courses in 2014, which reflects a surge in the demand for well-qualified teaching staff, particularly at the undergrad level. But whether or not we have a sufficient amount of quality teachers for higher education still remains a question.
Animal cell and a microbial cell.
There are a lot of them who want to know how this profession really works. How do you come into this department? What are qualifications? What all qualifications, etc., are required? So I think I'm hoping that more and more will keep coming in.
Arguably, the greatest challenge facing our higher education system is a shortage of faculty. Various reports suggest that around 30 to 40% faculty positions in institutes remain vacant. And with a rapid growth in the number of institutes offering higher education courses, the chances of finding lucrative career opportunities as teachers in these institutes will also become high.
It is the young people who have hope in their hearts and optimism for the future, and therefore it's important that more and more young people join the teaching profession, because it is in their own teaching career, in their own teaching profession, that they will be able to make a change.
As much as it is important to have good scores at the undergrad level, an aspirant for teaching jobs in colleges needs to have a postgrad degree and specialization in the subject of choice they want to teach. Along with a minimum score of 55% in NET, a national eligibility test, which is mandatory for all aspiring candidates for teaching jobs at the college level, is an accredited SET or SLET state-level test. A candidate with an MPhil or a PhD degree is also eligible for teaching jobs in colleges and universities.
You need to be postgraduate and you need to qualify the NET, that is National Eligibility Test. That's mandatory.
Typically, an aspiring professor will start their career as an assistant professor. The job role of an assistant professor includes instructing students, mediating classroom dialogues, scoring assignments, and developing lesson plans. They also work closely with students in the formulation and implementation of research activities and publishing research papers in scholarly journals. While teaching jobs for higher education are much popular among youngsters, the competition to get into these jobs is very tough. A candidate needs to have in-depth knowledge of his or her field along with good presentation skills, critical thinking, teaching sense, and an ability to handle pressure.
You know, nowadays it has really become a competitive field. Like, I am from sciences, so I can say more about that thing, that in sciences, like, you have to have, although PhD is not a necessary it's not a necessary requirement for getting into the post of assistant professor. But nowadays, almost only those candidates are taken into this profession, those who have the PhD degree. So it is a kind of a necessary requirement.
Depending upon the qualification of a candidate, institutions they wish to teach at, and the amount of research work done by them, the pay scale for an assistant professor may vary. As per UGC norms, an assistant professor with a PhD degree will graduate to an associate professor job only after completion of 12 years of service, while candidates with an MPhil degree will require 13 years of service. Candidates with neither an MPhil or a PhD will have to serve as an associate professor for 14 years and only then graduate to becoming an associate professor.
At this moment, they join as an assistant professor, then they become associate professor in colleges. In colleges, we do not have this provision for becoming a professor. Only in the university you have that post. So in the college, you just have got the assistant professor, associate professor. As I said just now, you enter at the assistant professor level, then you need to have certain points. There's 100, that is 100 maximum points, and certain points are given for your education and certain points for your publication. So adding up both the things, you are called for an interview.
For people looking forward to a different career after teaching job at any college or university, a variety of options exist. The skill set acquired will qualify you for numerous other corporate careers such as consultants and corporate trainers.
There are a lot of companies which will still take you because of the kind of experience you've got. You're dealing with humans after all, so you tend to, under human development, under banking, you can all go.
With the introduction of online education and e-learning and a well-spread internet network, teaching is no more limited to classrooms. Thanks to technology, teachers can reach out to students in the remote areas. In this context, opportunities for experienced teachers and professors have increased manifold. For instance, you can apply for online education jobs like online educators and tutors.
Well, that's all we have on today's show. We'll see you again tomorrow as we explore a new career option.
Catch the heads-up episodes you might have missed during the week at these times only on NDTV Prime.